Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Today we're going to do a quick overview on financial aid and student loans. I'm Michelle Nicholas, Assistant Student Loan Officer, and with me is Nicole Niswonger, Student Loan Officer.
Good morning, everyone.
Okay, let's start with different types of financial aid offered here at CTC. We have grants, student loans, and the WorkStudy Program. Pell Grants are awarded to undergraduate students who have not earned a bachelor's or professional degree. The Federal Supplemental Education Opportunity Grant, FSEOG, is to provide financial assistance to undergraduate students with exceptional financial need. The Texas Educational Opportunity Grant, otherwise known as the TEOG, is to provide students in need of grant funding who are enrolled in a Texas two-year public college. We'll go further into detail about student loans and WorkStudy Program on later slides. Now let's talk about how it applies to these different types of aid. A student's first step to financial aid would be apply for admissions with CTC, then complete the FAFSA application for the year he or she intends on using financial aid funds. The application can take 3 to 5 business days to be received by our financial aid office. Once received, the student will either be notified by mail that additional information, documents are needed, or receive confirmation that his or her financial aid file is complete. From there, if the student is eligible, he or she would log into SelfService to review and accept an award or awards. If the student is interested in applying for direct loans, he or she would need to complete the loan checklist under the award screen. We'll discuss this in a later slide also. Students can also access Eagle Self-Service by going to ctcd.edu, scroll over Student Tools located in the top center of the page, and click on eForms.
Okay. All right, guys, we're having a quick problem with our slides. Some of them didn't download, so we're going to share a new file. Give us 1 second. And so your slides will probably disappear, but we'll be right back with our other PowerPoint. All righty, there we are. Thank you, everyone, for waiting. I would take it back from that slide.
Huh? Let's see how I look now, not in her fake picture.
Okay. Let's reread that one slide since the slides were out of order. A student's first step to financial aid would be to apply for admissions with CTC, then complete the FAFSA application for the year he or she intends on using funds for financial aid. The application can take 3 to 5 business days to be received by our financial aid office. Once received, the student will either be notified by email that additional information, documents are needed, or they'll receive confirmation that his or her financial aid file is complete. From there, if the student is eligible, he or she would log into the Eagle Self-Service to review and accept an award or awards. If the student is interested in applying for a direct loan, he or she would need to complete the loan checklist under the award screen. We'll discuss this in a later slide. Students can also access Eagle Self-Service by going to ctcd.edu, scroll over Student Tools, it's located in the top center of the page, and then click on eForms.
To begin, a student will complete his or her FAFSA application at www.fasfa.gov. Each year, beginning October 1st, the new FAFSA application is available. We ask that students complete their FAFSA application and all required documents prior to June 1st, which is our priority deadline, to ensure funds are available before the first day of classes. Each student is required to meet satisfactory academic progress, otherwise known as SAP. This includes an overall GPA of a 2.0 or higher and an overall completion rate of 67%. A student's completion rate is determined by his or her completed hours, credit hours versus attended credit hours. We offer resources such as the completion rate and GPA calculators to ensure students stay on track. These are available on our website under Maintaining Eligibility. There are several different types of statuses that a student may be classified under. A student who has completed more than 150% of his or her current degree plan will not be eligible for financial aid. If a student is not meeting SAP standards, he or she will be able to log into Eagle SelfService, click on the Financial Aid tab, and see a message such as the one in red will appear. If the student needs additional information, he or she can click on the message, which will provide a definition of what type of SAP status the student has and the results used to determine the status.
I'm just saying.
Just as a quick reminder that a financial aid student is only eligible to receive financial aid funds for classes that are on their degree plan, and classes must begin and end within the designated terms listed below in order to be eligible for the financial aid. Here you will see both the award year 2018-19 and 2019-20.
Through Central Texas College's Financial Aid Office, we process 3 types of direct loans: direct subsidized loans, direct unsubsidized loans, and direct plus loans. Central Texas College's Financial Aid Department does not work with private lenders. Now let's go over the definitions of each type of student loan. The 2 main types of loans that we offer are the direct subsidized, which is also referred to as a DSAP loan, and a direct unsubsidized loan, which is also referred to as a DUGSL loan, or DUGS loan. The direct loan is awarded to eligible undergraduate students with a financial need, whereas a direct unsubsidized loan does not require a financial need. While in authorized periods of deferment, enrolled half-time, and during grace periods, a student is not charged interest on a direct subsidized loan. However, the borrower is responsible for interest accrued during all periods when borrowing a direct unsubsidized loan.
The Direct Parent Plus loan is available for a dependent student. To apply, an application must be completed by the parent through studentloans.gov. There are factors that can affect eligibility for a Parent Plus loan. If you have a student that needs assistance with this process, please refer the student to the loan department. Our contact information will be at the end of this presentation. Now let's go over some terms associated with student loans. A student is required to complete an entrance counseling and a loan agreement for a subsidized and unsubsidized direct loan before he or she is eligible for a direct loan disbursement. An exit counseling is required before a student graduates, drops below half-time, or withdraws from the college. All of these tasks can be completed on studentloans.gov. A first-time loan borrower is a student with 0 to 29 earned credit hours and has never received a student loan before. The school cannot receive a student's first direct loan disbursement until she or he is actively in class for the first 30 days. This can affect the student who is trying to purchase books or supplies during the first month of school.
These are the direct loan eligibility requirements that a student must meet prior to receiving a direct loan disbursement. Even if a student does not qualify for the Pell Grant, he or she must have a FAFSA application on file with the college for the award year requesting to borrow.
Here is where a student will complete the entrance counseling and loan agreement for a sub-unsub loan. They'll also complete the MPN, exit counseling, and Parent Plus application. Additional resources are also available on this site.
me to the webinar.
Under the Repayment and Consolidation tab, a student can find additional tools when applying for different repayment plans, or even just to use the repayment estimator to better understand what future monthly payments he or she may have.
Different locations, they got to bounce out.
Here you'll see the annual direct loan limits for an undergraduate dependent student and an independent student. Each year, the student can borrow up to his or her annual limit, but we cannot award beyond the student's cost of attendance, as determined by the Department of Education. Also, the Department of Education sets a limit to how much a dependent and independent student can borrow overall, as shown in this slide.
Blue packaging? Oh.
Currently, the interest rate for a direct subsidized and unsubsidized loan is 5.05%. A direct Parent Plus loan is 7.06%. Interest rates change each July 1st. Origination fees are deducted before the school receives the student's funding.
Now let's talk about how a student can review and accept his or her award through Eagle SelfService. If a student is eligible for an award, an email will be sent to the student with the link and the instructions.
Yep.
This is what a student would see after logging into Eagle SelfService and clicking on the Financial Aid tab. The student may need to change the award year located at the top left of the page. If the student does not have a current FAFSA on file, there will be a link to the FAFSA application. If the student has completed the application and is eligible for an award, he or she will be able to click on Review and Accept Your Financial Aid Award Package. There is also a checklist that the student can review, which shows items completed or will display an action needed. If the student is selected to complete additional documents, the student would be able to click on the link next to Any Action Needed, which will direct the student to the appropriate page to complete the requirement. If the student is awarded and accepts a direct loan, he or she will need to complete the loan checklist requirement.
This is what a student will see once he or she clicks on View and Accept Financial Aid Award Package. If the student was not eligible for financial aid, the student would have received an email as to why. A student can now either accept or reject all or a portion of the funding. Students who are eligible for a student loan will be packaged for the highest eligible amount for fall and spring only. If the student needs to either reduce the amount or request summer semester, he or she will need to notify the loan department. A student's award letter will resemble this example.
If a student has applied for a direct loan and it has been booked with the Department of Education, he or she will receive a disclosure statement. This informs the borrower of the disbursement dates the funds will release to the school, the terms and conditions, as well as the interest rate and origination fee. These dates are for the student's account only and are not dates that the student will receive the refund. On the date of each disbursement, the student must be meeting eligibility requirements to receive the funding. These dates are subject to change depending on if the student makes any adjustments to his or her enrollment.
Now let's cover several locations that a student can find additional resources. This section lists what types of grants and loans are available to students, understanding loan basics, finding and applying for scholarships, what tax benefits are accessible, and much, much more. This section covers on who qualifies for aid and retaining eligibility for students on suspension, regaining eligibility for students on suspension, or even on default with their student loans. Some students will have special circumstances. This section will cover a variety of situations.
Another tool that a student and/or parent can use when applying for the FAFSA application is located under this tab. This section will cover each step in the FAFSA application process and how to answer the questions in each step correctly. such as dependency status and reporting parents' information. Before a borrower begins repayment, this section can be helpful in determining the repayment plan, how much a borrower may pay per month, and what forgiveness, cancellation, or discharge options may be available. This section also has a checklist that borrowers can use prior to repayment, which can help a borrower stay on task and avoid any delinquencies or last-minute stressful moments.
A borrower can monitor his or her Pell and federal loan usage through the National Student Loan Database System, also known as NSLDS. Department of Education sets limits on Pell Grant usage, which is 600% or equivalent to 12 full-time semesters. It's important for students to review this periodically to ensure that there will be enough funds to complete their educational goals. This is an example of what a borrower may see when accessing NSLDS. Here, the student can review his or her own loan history and Pell usage to include what school this finding was awarded to. To the left of each award, the student can review further by clicking on the number.
The WorkStudy program is a great way to reduce the student's educational costs. A student could potentially work in such departments as the graphics and printing, planetarium, foundation office, hospitality, and the gym. This is a general overview of the program. If a student is interested, an application can be picked up at the financial aid department. A consortium agreement is a contract between two colleges or universities that recognize the student's registration at both locations for financial aid purposes. If the student qualifies for a consortium agreement, he or she will work with our financial aid office as well as the other schools he or she is attending. We do also accept outside scholarships. To find out more information on both consortium agreements and how an outside scholarship is received, please refer to the student to Stephanie Lopez.
Here's the contact information for our department. We have listed each staff member's name, email, job title, and phone number. You can use this list when helping a student who has questions about his or her financial aid. Both our financial aid processors and loan officers are assigned specific letters based on the student's first letter of his or her last name. However, we are all happy to help any student and employee with questions or concerns.
Now we will open it up to questions.
Bro?
Hi, everybody. This is Pearl Creviston, Director of Financial Aid, and one of the questions that I get from a lot of people across the country are always, why is it when a student turns in the information that they've been asked for a verification process, do we continuously ask for additional information after that? The reason is because financial aid has to verify the information from the FAFSA and then compare that to the documentation we request from the student. However, sometimes that information does not match. We then have to go back to the student, often more than once, and they continue to clarify their situation. It can often create an issue where students then have to bring us additional documentation. In the majority of the cases, if a student turns in the documentation and it is correct, we do not ask for any additional information. The file is simply processed and we move on to the next record. However, when there are discrepancies, we do have to continuously ask for additional information. Thank you.
Feel free to chat in any questions if you have any.
I also have a quick question. This is Corey Vinson from Student Services Department, and I was wondering, when the students are awarded they get their award letter, which email is it sent to?
All emails are sent to the, address we have on file, which is typically the Eagle Mail address that they've been assigned when they register.
Okay, so if they call looking for their award letter, make sure that they're checking their CTC email.
CTC email, or again, it'll be an Eagle self-service also.
Okay.
There's a question here from Rick. I have a student who wants to use Hazelwood for spring 2019 semester. How long is the approval process for this program? I submitted the corrected application today.
For the Hazelwood, that information is handled by Stephanie in Annabelle Smith's office. And I would recommend that you send Stephanie Lopez, L-O-P-E-Z, that question, because she is the one that actually processes it and can tell you whether or not she has the application that you submitted and approximately how long it would take to process that file. A lot of it depends on how much information she has to find out from the student.
And her email and phone number are on that last slide, if you want to go back to that.
And they'll also post.
If we have no other questions, feel free to email the financial aid department or any of those contacts with your questions. We appreciate each of you logging in today and joining us for our session. It will be posted online later this morning on the Student Services Tool page. The PowerPoint will be available there as well. And we will be back the first Friday of next month for another web. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.